On today's show, the Dallas Mavericks miss 5 shots in a row in the clutch, and a bunch of questionable decisions were made against the Golden State Warriors. Which one actually did them in? We'll talk about that and more on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks.
Mavericks, NBA champions. Bang! Bang! It's good, and the Mavericks have won the game.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Loyalty never fades away.
And welcome. You're locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager for the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for being part of the show, making Locked On Mavs your first listen today. But the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day on any podcast platform. Leave a 5-star review there, like the video on YouTube, and comment anything below. Let me know what cost the Mavs this game the most. A decision, a shot, a missed call. Let me know. Joining me, as always, in the post game, what you got for me, Slightly Biased?
The highs and the lows, Nick. The highs and the lows.
I'm not feeling as low as we have in the past.
After the win streak, you're like, well, they're only 7 back of the 1 seed, 7 games left. And now it's like, well, they're only 1 game up on the 8 seed.
It's teeter-totter, back and forth. It's back and forth, back and forth. Today's show, we'll get into the Mavericks clutch situation. We'll talk about some of the decisions made in this game. Tim Hardaway Jr. playing over Exum and Derrick Jones Jr. to close this game. Dwight Powell minutes in the first half with Derek Lively out. The Kyrie, Tim Hardaway Jr. Hardy lineup to end the third quarter. A lot of things to talk about in this game, but we got to start here slightly. The Mavericks miss 5 straight shots in the clutch. 4 minutes, PJ Washington misses a floater. 3:20, Kyrie misses a wide open 3. 2:50, Luka misses an open 3. 2:08, PJ misses a 3 after making a couple in the fourth quarter. And then 1:30, Daniel Gafford gets blocked by Draymond Green under the rim. Nothing, as someone that has witnessed 2 playoff losses in the Golden State Warriors arena, there is nothing worse than Draymond Green succeeding against you as a team.
And getting hype.
Yes, nothing worse than that on the other end of it. Shout out to him, an amazing, incredible defensive play.
Yeah,
but those 5 shots in a row, the Mavs played literally their worst offensive game since the trades have made. Their worst offensive game since January 31st against the Timberwolves, and they scored 87 points. It's their worst offensive game. Only their 9th clutch loss this season. And to me, it's on those all the other questions and all the other things we'll talk about later for sure. The decisions Kid made and all that came down to those 5 missed shots in a row to me.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say the same exact thing. That's what lost the game right there. 92-92. I mean, you did not play a good basketball game in this one. Your offense was, as you said, it was the worst one since the trade deadline, worst game since the trade deadline. And it showed. Like, your offense was really struggling tonight. Credit to the Warriors. I thought a lot of it was just tired legs. And you just some really rough performances from some of the role guys. But 92-92, and all those misses, besides the Gafford block, were literally nobody was within 5 feet of any of these players.
The PJ floater at 4 minutes. He takes one more step and he pogo sticks up for a dunk. Like,
that was just a bad miss.
That one got me.
That was not really even close either. Like, it's hard to like back iron a floater that badly.
The Gafford dunk too. I felt like he could have like gone on the other, used the rim as a defender and gone on the other side of the rim and got that, but I'm not a 6'10".
Even if Gafford makes that, it's a 4-point game with 1:30 left. Like, all the shots leading up to that, even the last PJ, the 4th of the 5 missed shots, PJ Washington 3, it's a 4-point game with 2:08 left, and he makes that. It's a 1-point game, completely different feel. And you can't be mad at any of the looks.
No, you can't.
They're literally all wide open.
And still, they missed those 5 shots in a row, and it still comes down to Maxey gets a huge block on one end. 15 seconds left. Kyrie gets fouled by Draymond. Hits 2 free throws in a row. Mavs are only down 2 with 15 seconds left. Klay Thompson gets the ball inbounded from Chris Paul. Takes 1,000 steps. No one calls anything. Like he like the ball got lodged between his hand and his thigh, and so he takes a couple of extra steps. Nobody calls anything. It's a travel. He gets intentionally fouled. He hits 2 free throws, and that is basically the game there. After the 5 missed shots, I will say the Klay Thompson missed travel also cost the Mavericks the game. I would put that second.
I gotta say, I don't know if I've ever even come on here and been mad at the officials I can't tonight in good faith do that, honest to God. The Mavericks got, I thought, the benefit of some horrible calls at times.
Yes,
horrid
they did,
calls.
for sure.
I mean, that was a big miss in that moment for sure. And they call that everything changes because the Mavs can win the game. Like they will have the ball with 15 seconds left, down 2. Like they can win it
Down
with a
2.
3. But yeah, I mean, I can't. That's kind of lower on the list for me. In terms of,
it's a travel. It was a travel though. Like
I know
it's clear,
they messed it up.
Clear as day. Like
I'm saying, if I'm like listing the reasons the Mavs lost, I'm putting that lower.
Okay, you can put it lower. What's a thing you put higher than it then?
I mean, for me, it's just like, all right. First and foremost, the Mavericks had a great road trip, a fantastic road trip, and this was very wonky. We talked about their weird schedule, and because this was a makeup game from the assistant coach on Golden State, unfortunately passing, that the schedule is just the travel very, very weird. Going from the West Coast back to Texas, then back to the West Coast, it's just kind of a weird scheduling thing. But they did great in this road trip, and it looked like a team that was on the last game of a road trip with some weird travel involved. Like that's what it looked like. They early on, I don't think they really matched the energy, and there was just times throughout the game where the Warriors just had way more energy than you did. Offensive rebounding, you should not have gotten killed on the glass the way that you did tonight, and even some defensive breakdowns late in the game, like that Wiggins, which was essentially the dagger, if it weren't for Clay almost traveling, but was essentially the dagger. I thought that was just really poor defense by Luka in that moment. Like I don't know how you can have like a lazy closeout and defensive stand there like that. But I thought most of it was the team looked tired. Like I am giving them some bail. Like they looked like a tired team.
They absolutely did. 11 turnovers in the first half too. They averaged 12.2 turnovers, and they had 11 in the first half. Now the Warriors only scored 11 points off of those turnovers in the first half, so it didn't kill you too much, but it still killed your momentum in so many ways. Killed your offense in so many ways. And I was tweeting Magnets during the game. It wasn't a full Magnets game. Mavs finished 15 of 40. That's 37%. That's okay. Warriors shot 47%, 15 of 32. That's great. So that they got Magnets on their end, but it wasn't like a full Magnets turned off for the Mavs game. If they shot like under 30% or something, I would maybe have considered that. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't full like that.
The non-Luka Kyrie Mavs shot 6 of 21. So
brutal. They got, nobody else had anything really going. PJ Washington scored 20 points. He hit he hit 3 threes out of the 10 that he took, and then he hit a couple other like floaters and things in the lane and stuff like that. He was the only other player that really contributed offensively. Like, you didn't get any offense from anybody else. It
wasn't like a great offensive output from
people. But still.
But you did
something.
Yeah, I mean this game comes down to one, those missed shots at the end. And that was just kind of a microcosm of the whole game because they were missing shots pretty much the whole game. And then the role guys, just the Warriors. You said Magnets. I mean, Moses Moody, just I don't know, turns into the greatest shooter of all time against the Mavericks. Andrew Wiggins forgets that he forgot how to play basketball whenever he sees the Mavericks on the schedule. Maybe they should trade for. I mean, maybe that is what's saving Wiggins' career. Like
he won't play the Mavs anymore, though. He won't play them anymore, though.
The energy or something. It's just like I love basketball again.
It's like if the Mavs ever finally landed Julius Randle, he would not play well for the Mavericks. Like he always kills the Mavs, he would just not play well for them.
The Julius Randle one's always funny to me because it's like, dude, we haven't had like any chances to get you. He's like so bad. It's like he has a vendetta against the Mavs for him not being on the team. It's like, when did you want us to get you?
There was that time when he was leaving the Pelicans. Remember he was on the Pelicans?
Yeah.
I feel like they could have, that was at his lowest point. I think that's right before he went to the Knicks. But I feel like they could have gotten him there. But yeah. Yeah, this game comes down to it's your worst offensive game.
Yeah, I mean that's
with this new iteration of the team. It's end of a road trip. Like there's just a lot of things. Warriors defense did a really great job, but still it's Mavs' worst offensive output.
You still had a chance to win. I mean, if we're looking at the bright side of things, like this was, I'm happy the numbers back it up. Easily your worst offensive game in months, and you were just literally right there. And I can't emphasize this enough. If you didn't watch the game, 92-92, it was 4 straight. I mean, like practice shots, 4 straight practice shots that unfortunately they just didn't drop. And you can't be mad at it, but it's just.
I am gonna be mad at it.
Frustrated is a better word.
I'm so mad at it. Imagine how hyped we would have been if they won that game.
That would have been I don't know the ceiling of this team if they can win games like this.
They can win a trash game like this, man. They can win anything.
Yeah.
But coming up, Let's talk about some decisions that were actually made, because I think there are some other things that really affected this game coming up into it. Let's talk about Tim Hardaway Jr. closing the game. Let's talk about Luka Doncic guarding Andrew Wiggins, one of the reasons why he had a really good game. We'll talk about that and more coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. eBay Motors knows that passion, drive, patience, it's the formula for winning a championship, and it's also what keeps your ride or die car alive. We say ride or die a lot, and I want to make sure that you know that it's about cars. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle, level it up to peak performance. It's got superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. If you know how to add all that stuff to your car, get it at eBay Motors. They have over 122 million parts to choose from for your number one ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for, and with the eBay Guaranteed Fit, you know that it's going to fit your car the first time, every time, or get your money back. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, listening every day. We appreciate each and every one of you for checking out the show. Go check out the Locked On Sports Dallas 24/7 stream on YouTube and Amazon Fire TV. We'll talk about Amazon Fire TV later. Also, I appreciate every single person that has subscribed to the subtext. We finally hit my goal of 300. That's right. We are strong. The 300. Remember that movie that was like...
I can honestly say I never watched it.
It came out like right at the time when seeing a rated R movie was super cool for me, because I was still like young, and then I saw it in Mexico with my dad, and I was like, this is the coolest thing.
I think that was my problem. I wasn't allowed to watch it, and I just never circled back.
Yeah, Gerard Butler. The actor that played his son early in the movie went to prom with a girl in my high school, and we interviewed him for our school news.
Really?
And it was a really huge story that kid was there. He like knew their family somehow.
Okay. I'm sorry. I misinterpreted that. I was thinking like an older actor, and I'm like, wait.
That Gerard Butler did? No,
yeah,
the guy that played Gerard Butler's son in the movie. Anyway, so this is Locked On Mavs.
Yeah, the listeners are like, please yell at Jason Kidd. We don't care.
So, other decisions and other things that changed this game. If I'm going to point to anything, so Derek Lively's out in this game. Mm-hmm. He may be out for a little while. He was questionable coming into this game. I thought that was maybe an encouraging thing, but then Jason Kidd says maybe a couple weeks. But I don't have the Jason Kidd. I'm not a doctor drop anymore. I should have kept it.
How did you interpret that?
I don't know. I never know what, because I feel like he just like he'll just come out and say, yeah, we'll see, we'll see. That's what he always says. Because so I never take his stuff as
when Mark Spears originally tweeted it, I was like, oh god. And then I read the quote from Kidd, and I was like, oh, it sounded more like Kidd being like, hey, he could miss 2 weeks. We don't know. Like we'll find out more tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't take Kidd's like, hey, I don't know, guys, could be this. I don't take that as a diagnosis. Right.
Yeah. Dr. Kidd.
But anyway, Lively misses this game. I thought they really missed him. They tried the Dwight Powell minutes in the first half. Kidd said before the game they were going to do that, which I found really, really funny. Like, hey guys, we're going to play Dwight Powell. Hey, remember when we did this in the playoffs 2 years ago and it really hurt us like really bad and we couldn't do it? They were -8 in those 8 minutes that Dwight played. Those were a little rough. What did you think about not having Lively and then the Dwight Powell minutes?
I think the Lively loss hurt, definitely. In a game like tonight, I honestly think this would have been a game, even if Lively was out there, we come on talking about their use of small ball, because I just think that was almost how the game was dictated. And Powell's minutes weren't the best, but it can't like point to anything Dwight Powell did, because he was on the floor during a stretch where like the Mavericks were just missing every single shot that they took. So I don't know how much of that I can blame Dwight for, but look, with Lively out, there's going to be some weird rotational stuff with centers. Like that's just how it's going to go. And it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds.
Yeah. The Warriors, they played Trace Jackson Davis, who started 21 minutes. They played Kevon Looney 9 minutes. So they only really had 20, or 30 minutes of center play. And Trace Jackson Davis is I guess he's a center, but he's a little undersized. And then they played 18 minutes of non-center minutes, basically, with Draymond at the 5, where they were talking about how this is like a college size lineup. They average 6'5" across the board.
Yeah,
man, that was it. The Warriors just out hustled and out executed the Mavericks in a lot of different stretches in this game tonight. And I thought that if they had Lively, it would have been a great advantage. And Dwight Powell didn't give them another advantage in another way. And so I thought that did hurt them.
Well, you got to give them a lot of props because it didn't feel like you ever felt Gafford's size advantage in this game. Like I can't remember any specific moments.
Couple moments where you felt like Luka would throw some hit ahead passes to him, and he dunked over some guys. The goaltend that may not have been a goaltend with 3 minutes left against Draymond. That one was
we never saw a better angle of that because one of the angles looked like, wait, that didn't look like it. But the weird thing about goaltend is you see a side angle and it's like, oh, that hit the glass like 10 seconds.
Right.
So I don't know, but I think the Warriors did a good job defensively, and they're like 6'5", but they play bigger, and they just took away a lot of the things the Mavericks wanted to do with Gafford. And I think Gafford kind of struggled, especially early on too, taking advantage of some of the short rolls and those low posts and stuff.
They play bigger and they're connected. Like this team has played together for I did the Luka's MVP case the other day. The Mavs 5-man lineup that has played the most is still 122 minutes. Like this Warriors team has played 122 years together with Draymond, Clay, and Steph. And then you add Wiggins has been there a while now. Gary Payton's been there in and out for a while. Moody's been there a while now at this point. Like when was he drafted? Kevon Looney's been there a long time. Like these guys have been. Chris Paul will pick up anything. Yeah. One of the smartest players in the league. So like, they had the continuity edge was not on the Mavs side for sure in this game. But yeah, I thought that was a big difference, and they missed Lively for sure. The other decision that was made was Tim Hardaway Jr. closing over Dante Exum and Derrick Jones Jr. I see a lot of complaining on that on Twitter right now, and I'm here as a person that has complained about Tim Hardaway Jr. a lot this season. I had no problem with them closing with Tim.
Ooh, I'm interested to hear your reason because I feel somewhat similar.
I can imagine how Exum could come in and help and do some things. But Exum wasn't lighting the world on fire when he was in this game either. It felt like he was tentative. Felt like he was not getting separation with anybody in any of his drives. He hit 1 3, missed another one. He had 4 assists in this game, but I didn't think that he was giving them any super advantage either. And so you take Tim's spacing instead because they just needed any kind of spacing like that. And I think Tim would give you a little bit more of that. And I thought Tim played fine. Like Tim had 3 assists. He had some good moments. Hit that floater to tie the game. What was that? That was to tie it at 92, right? He hit that floater in transition where he did something good in transition. Yes.
Well, it looked like he was about to lob that to Gafford.
Oh my God. I thought
I was like, here we go.
This is going off the top of the backboard for some reason. But no, I thought it was a wash between the two of them as far as like what they brought, and Kid chose the spacing of Tim, and you know what? It didn't work.
Yeah, okay. So I do partially agree with you. I mean, if you wanted to put Exum out there, fine, but I don't think this was some catastrophic decision because not only did Exum not really have that great of a game statistically, but he passed up what I felt like was 3 or 4 really good looks at 3. So this is kind of the thing with Exum that's somewhat concerning sometimes, where it's like you have that game a couple nights ago against the Kings where it's like 4 straight shots in the fourth quarter. I do not care that I've missed 4 in a row or 3 in a row. I'm shooting this game-winning shot.
Hitting the last one.
And it's like, oh my God, this is incredible. This guy's like a closing playoff player for you. And then it's nights like tonight where it's like, you got to shoot some of these. Like, I know that you're a low volume 3-point shooter, but the Warriors were leaving PJ Washington completely and totally wide open and leaving Exum wide open. And, when a team switches and rotates like that, you're going to get looks. Like, you're going to have to be ready to shoot and ready to go. And yeah, I do agree with you.
Can the Mavs bottle any of the confidence, the 3-point shooting confidence that Grant Williams had when he was shooting 60% from 3, and he comes into the press conference room after a game and we're like, hey, you're shooting like 65% from 3. It's not good enough for me.
Yeah.
I want to shoot 100%. Can they bottle any of that confidence and give it to Dante Exum? Because I think this team would be so much better.
Or Tim's confidence.
Yeah. If you could fuse Tim and Dante Exum together, that would be a great player. Can we bring back out our fuser? We used to do it with, we were like, who were we going to fuse? We were going to fuse. It was Dorian and who was it? Oh, Ryan Brokoff. You remember Ryan?
I do remember Ryan Brokoff. Dorian kind of turned into that.
He did. He became a really, really good shooter. And the Mavs are still kind of looking for that kind of shooter. But yeah, I did not think that the Tim Hardaway Jr. closing over Exum or Derrick Jones Jr. was such an egregious decision. It was a choice for sure. It didn't work out, but I didn't think that killed them necessarily.
Well, did it not work out, or did it just the Mavericks just not win the game? Like, did they lose specifically because Tim Hardaway Jr. was out there? I say no.
I don't think so. No,
they lost because they missed 4 completely and totally wide open
shots
in a row.
And Tim didn't take one of them. So.
And look, you go back and watch this game. Tim was like I've been telling you, like they think Tim is a good defender. Tim was on.
This is my. I've been on this.
No. I'm not saying you. I'm saying the team thinks. Oh, you're saying no. Said it too. Yeah.
This has been my take for years. Is that Jason Kidd thinks that Tim Hardaway Jr. is a good defender. He did it again tonight. The end of what was that? The third quarter or something. He takes Luka and Kyrie out of the game for defense-offense subs, and he leaves Tim in the game. He's done this so many times where he puts Tim in specifically for defensive purposes. He thinks he's a good defender. But anyway, continue with your point.
He was sticking Steph in crunch time. Like he was the one guarding him.
I know.
And honestly, he didn't do that bad of a job. I thought the Mavs actually. What's crazy is we're talking about the Mavericks and all the thing they did. I thought defensively they played a good game.
Yeah, Steph scored 13 points.
Yeah, they gave up 104. That you turn the ball over that much and to not get murdered in transition is honestly like a testament to your hustle and energy. And I thought Maxey played good defensively. I know people are trashing Maxey. He was really bad offensively, but defensively, I thought he had some really nice moments too.
And only played 16 minutes. So if you're really gonna complain, I mean, it's kind of tough. Coming up, there was one defensive decision that they made that I do not understand. And there was another lineup decision that I think hurt them a lot. We'll talk about what those two things were. Did it cost them the game? We'll talk about that coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by Amazon Fire TV. You've got to check out Amazon Fire TV on your Amazon Fire Stick or the Amazon Fire Smart TV app. It's your destination for sports, live games, highlights, in-depth analysis, all kinds of that stuff. You can stick the Fire Stick right into your regular TV and provide all kinds of movies, TV episodes, as well as free and live TV, whether it's opening weekend for baseball, the basketball tournament, or you're going to want to have a Fire TV. Fire TV recently created Fire TV channels to deliver a constant supply of the latest videos from your favorite sports brands, all for free. That includes all of us here at Locked On. So check out some of the great stuff we have on the Locked On Sports Today feed, the Locked On Sports Dallas feed, all that kind of stuff. Check it out on Fire TV channels and Fire TV and Alexa devices. If you haven't checked out Fire TV channels, you should. Trust me on this. To learn more, visit Amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV, Amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV. All right, Slightly. Couple more decisions that were made in this game. Another defensive decision, since we're talking about defense right now. Luka started on Andrew Wiggins, defending Andrew Wiggins. And the Mavericks also switched everything in this game. I thought switching everything was a choice, and I thought Luka guarding Wiggins was a choice. And I think Wiggins, game high or team high 23 points in this game. I thought both of those decisions were questionable. To not put just put PJ on Andrew Wiggins, put Luka on Draymond. I thought they did it because they anticipated the switching. Yeah. And so they wanted to, but then it just ended up Wiggins was just attacking Luka over and over again. It felt like.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a problem that much with the switch everything because the Warriors move so much,
and the defense was good.
Yeah, the defense did fine, and we know this team can have problems sometimes communicating. So if it's just understood before the game, hey, we're pretty much just going to try and switch everything.
Yeah.
Then you really limit the amount of times you can burn yourself there. But yeah, I mean, that was clearly their game plan was to go at Luka, whether that was an attempt to tire him out or just say, hey, we don't think we know what everyone on Twitter says. We don't think you're that good of a defender. And Wiggins, he had a great game. And Luka had some moments defensively, but he also had some moments where he got burned and beat. And Luka's been dealing with a bunch of different leg injuries. And the team as a whole looked tired at times. So yeah, I'm not going to trash Luka for his defensive performance. But yeah, but he got beat up.
I'm not I didn't even trashing Luka. I'm trashing the decision to keep to start Luka like defending Wiggins and then left him on him the whole game basically.
So the decision then would have been: do we want Luka in more one-on-one scenarios with Wiggins, or do we want Luka in the action every single time when Draymond's running a trillion screens and dribble handoffs, and Luka's gonna have to be switching and moving versus Wiggins is more one-on-one.
Or chasing Clay, or chasing Gjorgjievski, or chasing Gary Payton, I guess. Gary Payton would have been the one that I would have left him on Trace Jackson Davis.
And then had Gafford on Wiggins or something?
It's fine, sure.
But Trace Jackson Davis plays in the Draymond role though sometimes too, where he's like initiating offense and stuff, and they're running handoffs and things like that.
Yeah, so Luka guarding Wiggins I thought was a decision. The lineup, though, that I do have a problem with, that I just do not like, and I know that they're limited because Lively was not playing, Josh Green is still out. The Kyrie, Tim Hardaway Jr., Hardy lineup to end the third quarter. The Warriors run on a 9-0 run at the end of that quarter and got some momentum there. That lineup with those three guys coming into this game, 126 off defensive rating.
Yeah, it's a terrible lineup.
Awful. It's terrible. And there are times this season when it's been good, and they're just more often than not, though, they've been really, really bad defensively with those three guards out there, and they haven't found any kind of synergy. Like there was a play where it was just like tossing back and forth between Hardaway and Hardy. You're like, oh no, this is not leading to anything good right now.
Because I guess in theory, all right, Hardy gives us more on-ball creation and stuff like that, but in practice, Hardy's very inconsistent with that now. Like he's just not somebody you could consistently rely on to like be, all right, Kyrie's getting doubled. All right, give the ball to Jaden Hardy. He's our exit valve. Like he's going to make something happen. He's just at this stage in his career, not somebody who consistently is good at it.
A Hardy leap would have been amazing for this team. Like amazing. Would have been so clutch this season. It just hasn't happened for whatever reason.
So is this the Exum like minute, like we're watching his minutes? Because in the playoffs, I'd have to imagine this is almost an 8-man rotation, and those lineups do not see the floor. And it's Exum maybe instead, who's getting 29 minutes.
Yeah, Exum played 21 minutes, and I don't think he's played more than like...
That's about where he is every game.
I know. I want to actually check, though, to see where he's been since he returned from injury. But, yeah, I would imagine that. And I just was on a podcast recently where a guy asked me, so is Tim Hardaway Jr. the X factor for this team? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go the complete opposite. I think this team will have proven success if Tim Hardaway Jr. does not even play. For them, like that would prove that. Like I think the X factor is PJ's offense and 3-point shooting, but Exum has not played more than 24 minutes in a game since returning from injury, and that 24 one was the other Golden State Warriors win, so they were conservative a little bit in this one.
Look, especially with Lively out, there's gonna be some rotation. It's just weird. It sucks that we're getting it at this point in the season where every win is very crucial and every game feels very crucial. But they're going to try stuff out. They're going to see what works, what doesn't work. Now, in theory, you should have an idea because you've had non-Lively minutes plenty this season.
Yeah, he's missed over 20 games. Kid also mentioned that we may get some PJ at the 5. We never got that, and we still haven't really gotten that either. I'm a little curious how that is. I don't think they have the wings to do it with Josh.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think I like that.
But I want to see it. But
I'm okay with Maxey at the 5 next to PJ.
I don't know if
I'm 100% cool with
it.
Are we scared or
am I scared of what? Just in general, inflation?
Yeah.
Somebody contracted bird flu in the U.S. again.
I saw that. We're doing that.
Are we nervous about bird flu again?
All right, I guess. Hey, just let us get the playoffs in first.
Clippers also lost tonight against the Kings, so shout out to the Kings for doing that. But also, now it's only a 1 game difference.
I'm about to say, I'm not like I don't think the 4 seed's a realistic outcome.
Yeah, you're 2 games back. You've got 7 games to go for both teams, I think.
You're 3 games back essentially because the Clippers have the tiebreaker.
And Clippers have the tiebreaker. So 4 seed is that it would have been 1 game if the Mavs had won tonight, and the Clippers that would have been a really big. Just didn't happen.
Now at this point, I want the teams below the Mavs to lose. That's all I care about. I don't care who they play.
And to stay ahead of the Pelicans because they have to win the division.
Yes.
So the Mavericks with the Kings.
So we have gone over this before the show because it is very confusing.
I have confused myself so many times.
I have confused myself a million times as well on this. So the tiebreaker with the Pelicans is conference record, correct? But it's not going to matter because if the Mavs win against the Rockets, they win the division. That's still a thing that exists. They win the South. Now, in the past, that guaranteed you home court. Remember that? That wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, where you look at and like there's the Mavs are like a 60-win team and the 5th seed.
Yeah. Because the Spurs won like 61 or something. Yeah. So that would have been nice if that was still a thing. But no, so the Mavericks,
maybe
if they beat the Rockets, they will have home court. They the tiebreaker against the Pelicans and the Kings and the Suns. You have the tiebreaker against every single team below you at that point. So,
I think if the Pelicans are winning the division and the Mavericks aren't, yeah, but then I don't know. Then they'd be tied. Well, it's only. If
but I'm saying
only if they're tied.
You're 10-5 in the division right now. So if you win against the Rockets, it's impossible for the Pelicans to have a better division record than you
because they don't play any more division games.
Well, they've already lost 6 games. The Pelicans are 9-6 in division play. The Mavs are 10-5.
Yeah, they only have Spurs left. So yeah.
So that's if you beat the Rockets, then
you must win game against the Rockets again. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, I think pretty much every game at this point is a must win just for the psyche. Because I don't want to wake up in the morning. It's like, oh my God, the Kings won last night. The Mavs are 7 again. Like I don't want to do that anymore. We're moving on up.
Mavs need to go. Mavs need to go 5-2 to win 50 games too. The rest
I would
of the
like
season.
that. That'd be cool.
That'd be great. I would like that too.
Atlanta's a tough. They're tougher than I think the record would indicate. They've been playing lately.
Just beat Boston twice recently.
Yeah, DeJounte Murray's literally putting up 40 shots a game.
You've got Atlanta, and then you got a back-to-back against Golden State. Both of them at home though, so that's good.
Yeah.
Then another home game a day later against Houston. That's a big one. So this is a big home stretch coming up. These 3 games, and then you have at Charlotte, at Miami. It's a pair of back-to-backs. That's weird.
Please beat Charlotte by 60 points. Like let's get some revenge.
Then you've got Detroit, and then you've got the weird Oklahoma City game where who knows what could be on the line.
That could be a fun last game of the season where one team in the matchup decides to tank for the other team. That could be a possibility.
Yeah, what if it's like, right now OKC is in 3rd. What if the Mavs are like in 6th, and then OKC is like, all right, we're gonna lose so that we play the Mavs.
Or the Mavs are 5th, and they're like, you know what? I think we want the Clippers instead. Or I think we want the Thunder instead of the Clippers, and then we can avoid the Nuggets in the second round.
And the Mavs lose?
And the Mavs purposefully tank in order. Hey, the basketball gods, I would say the basketball gods don't look kindly on that, but I think they do, actually. Because remember, the Clippers blatantly tanked to play us and then beat us.
Yeah, and then their players all got injured and they never did anything.
True.
So, but yeah, there you go. That's the setup going after that. That's the Mavs versus Warriors game. We will be back tomorrow. I think Dana Larson is on with me, so we'll talk all about this Mavs run, this new Mavs team. And then on Thursday, when it rains, Slightly will be on with me for Mavs Hawks.
70 and sunny, baby. 70 and sunny. That would be a real proof if a thunderstorm pops up last second. That would be real proof.
It's going to rain again. Slightly plays softball on Thursdays, and it always rains on Thursdays, and I think it's really funny. Yeah. And then we'll have a post-game episode for you on Friday. We'll just continue. We're doing the playoff dash. We'll do episodes every single day. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom. It's gonna rain. I'm calling it. Right now.
It's not 70 and sunny.
Nope. It's going down.
Go Mavs.